Good evening, members, and welcome to our IEDS webinar. Tonight, we're going to be talking about how to increase your new patients by 10% with no marketing expense. And we're going to do tonight's webinar with the video that we normally show, and we'll talk a little bit about that afterwards. But before we do show the video, I did want to make an announcement for those of you who live in the San Diego or Scottsdale area. In 2 weeks, we are going to be going to First San Diego on Thursday night on the 18th. We're going to be speaking there to the San Diego Society of Perio. And then on that following Saturday afternoon at 1:30, we are going to be speaking in Scottsdale to the Arizona Society of Perio. So if you guys are anywhere near those two areas and you would like to come out and see us, we would love to see you. So contact us, email us, call us if you're interested, and we will get you into those lectures. We do have 8 lectures scheduled up and coming between now and July. So do stay tuned for those dates because we probably will be coming to an area near you. And we are pretty excited about that. Please look out for that. So tonight we are going to be showing this video. This video is only about 9.5 minutes or so. It's pretty quick. And then, like I said, stay tuned after the video because we will be talking again after that.
How do you market to patients? Well, there's a lot of marketing that we talk about that's external marketing, and that costs money. And sometimes we have to spend that money. And we're very happy we spend that money as long as there are patients coming in. But there's a whole source of patients that can come into you without spending any money at all or very little money at all. That's defined as internal marketing. And the first area that I want to cover today is Google reviews. You know, Google offers a free service. It's called Google My Business. If you haven't filled out your Google My Business page, go ahead and fill it out right after you watch this video. Google My Business essentially is Google's method of giving you free advertising. Why do they do that? There's a whole lot of reasons they do that. But the fact is that it's there. It's there where you can submit pictures of the outside of your building, the inside of your building, your office hours, the particular points of your practice that's important. But it also then gives the opportunity for a patient to write a nice review about you. Just think what happens when you're checking out a business that you go to. What do you do? What do you do? Where do you go?
We look for Google. And the funny thing with that is people don't just look up Google reviews to look at reviews. People look up in Google to find out where it's located, the office hours. They're looking for information on the business, and there just so happens to be 1 to 102 Google reviews. And so you can't help yourself but to read it. And so that's why it's so big. There's so much involved in the Google review or the Google page itself on your business, and it makes patients just want to learn more about you and read all this good stuff. So that's one of the best things about that.
It is, and you have the opportunity of writing, not writing, but responding to any Google review as long as you have a Google My Business page. And if you respond to the Google review, so let's assume you get a 5-star review, and of course that's what we want is 5-star reviews. Then you have the opportunity within just a couple of sentences of acknowledging that review. And by the way, that raises your stature in Google, which means you're going to tend to show up a little bit higher on that first page, or hopefully on that first page when you do that.
Yep, and patients are doing their homework. Some of our largest cases that we have done, when I've asked the patient, how did you hear about us? Because they weren't referred, they came directly from off the street. They'll say, I read your reviews and your reviews were great. And so they were able to feel comfortable with us and trust us to invest in us for their dental treatment. And so it does give them that trust that some of these patients would have gotten from a referring source, which is not there anymore. It's not going to be there anymore. And they get that from Google.
So how do you get the Google reviews? And that's the key. Google reviews just don't happen. Well, some of them will just happen.
Yeah.
But you have to give your patient a method of doing that. And what we're going to do is in the next session, we're going to talk about the methods that are there that can make Google reviews appear. And so if you look at our site, at least today, It's 103. By the time you're viewing this video, I hope it's going to be a lot more. And I just anticipate it will. And with some of the strategies that you need to implement, and that you'll be implementing, you'll be able to do that.
Right.
So the strategies will be in the next session, but let's talk about principles first. The first principle is there needs to be somebody in your office who's in charge of Google reviews. This is not a generic thing. Oh, we all do everything. No, this is not a kumbaya moment. It really isn't. We need to have an individual in charge of each individual area in our practice. Well, not just internal marketing, but in the entire structure of the practice. Does it mean that other people may not help out that individual? Of course people will help out that individual. But if somebody's in charge, then that person that knows that it's his or her responsibility and gets that done. You're good at getting people to be in charge.
Well, yes, I'm good at bossing people around. But we do have one person in charge of this. We have Lisa at the front desk. Now, her job is not just to do Google reviews all day long. She checks in patients. She checks out patients. She's our greeter. She's in charge of our reception room. She makes sure all that is in. But her most prized job that she has is getting these Google reviews from patients. And what she does is she communicates with staff. Hey, staff, whenever you have somebody that just loves their experience, they're happy with their outcome, they love their result, they're saying great things, let me know when you bring them to me. And she loves talking to these patients about that and saying, hey, if you do this Google review, you can enter into a drawing. You can, whatever incentive it may be, which we do have an incentive on it because we want patients to do it to get something because they're more inclined to do that. But she loves to explain what they can get, what it can do for them, what it does for us, how it makes our patients who are just coming in feel more comfortable because they're scared, they're apprehensive. So how does it help us? How does it help you? So it's her having a lot of pride in gaining those, and she loves to tell you, hey, I got another one today, I got another one today. So how can you make a staff member do that for you? Which, well, we're going to have Lisa on one of these, and we're going to have her show you what she does to do that. But we give the patients, we have a printout of how to do this. We have an informational printout. We have a how-to printout. We have Lisa that shows the basket that they can win for a drawing. We let patients see what this is. So that's a big part, is educating your patient as well. Not just, hey, we do a Google review, because some of them don't even know what that means.
And then when Lisa goes to the staff meeting, then that's why staff meetings is so important, because we have flaps and handlings, as those of you who know are the structure that we use. And then the next part is wins. What happened good? I got another 5 Google reviews this week. Okay, so everybody so she can announce it, everybody gives her applause, and then we start to maybe even think about, well, how could we do that even better? That's why staff meetings can be very, very important.
Right. We also have some new stuff coming up on Google Review, some new improved things that we're even doing ourselves on Google Review that we're going to share with you as well, that makes it easier, faster, and also gives us extra review perks with that as well. So we're excited to go over those with you when we do our hands-on webinar coming up soon.
Okay, so here's your homework. Number 1, go to Google My Business. Make sure your practice is there. If you need some assistance, you can even call Google. But there are people that are working for you right now who know about the Google My Business page. All you have to do is go to Google My Business and fill out the form. It's very, very simple. Number 2, assign somebody the task of Google reviews. Okay? So just get that part of it done. Number 3, Ben, that should have been number 3. Let me give you back to Google My Business. When you go to Google My Business, they give you lots of opportunities. Fulfill every one of those opportunities, including uploading pictures of yourself, uploading pictures of the inside of your building, of your staff, of the outside of your building. Do everything Google My Business allows you to do. And then once you have a staff member in charge of that, then when Google reviews are actually assigned, they can go to your not your website, they're going to your Google My Business page, and they can see who you are and just how good you are.
And also, if you don't believe what we're saying, another part of your homework can be take a look at Google's reviews in your areas for other dentists in your area. So put your name in there. See how many Google reviews you have. Maybe you have 1, maybe you have 20, maybe you don't have anything right now. But when you put in, let's say, dental implants, see what pops up. Does your name pop up? Who's underneath you? Who's above you? Who has more stars than you? Who has more reviews? you should know that, and you should be looking at that because your patients are. They're looking at, whenever I put in a product that I'm looking for, I look to see who's on top, who has the most stars, because to me that tells me they're the best. So we're going to show you how to do that.
Good. So now you have your assignments. Next time we talk, we'll be talking about how that person, we want that person online with you once you've made that assignment. And our next webinar, we're going to talk exactly about how you do it, exactly the steps you can take. Okay?
We hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions in regards to it, please email us.
The American Association of Independent Periodontists is there to help every periodontal practice do better. I'm Dr. Lee Sheldon.
And I'm Danielle Joyner. We'll see you on the next video.
All right, so why do we keep talking about gaining these Google reviews? And first of all, we do more marketing to patients from off the street than anything else. We, as everybody knows, we're not real big on the doctor referrals anymore, and that's because doing this has done better for us than ever. I mean, we just ended last year and we're at a whole new high. I mean, since we've started this, our practice has grown what?
We've almost tripled.
Almost tripled.
Well, let's say 2.5 times.
So, I mean, it's done well. It's done very, very well. So we keep repeating this stuff because, for one, they keep changing and improving for us. And as it changes and improves for us, we want it to change and improve for you because it is helping us. It's helping us grow, and we want to help you grow. Some of our largest cases come from patients saying, I Googled your name. I saw your Google reviews. I read your Google reviews. I love your Google reviews, and I want to be that. I want to have that. That's what I want. So they're huge. They're big to these patients. Also, the larger amount of number 5-star reviews that you are getting makes you stand out further than anybody else in your area. When someone puts in your name, you should be seeing your name up there. You should be seeing your name alongside, above, right there on that first page with those stars and those numbers on there. Because as I said in the video, if I'm looking for appliances and I put it in there, I want to see who's 1, 2, 3, and 4, who has the most stars and who has the most reviews, and start looking at those reviews. Your patients are doing that. You should be on top of yours as well. So how can you raise your Google reviews? How can you raise those? You can, first of all, look for your happy patients. Your hygienist is the probably most valuable person for this because they have a whole schedule all day long of patients they have established a great relationship with. Those patients will almost do anything they ask them to do. So for them to talk to them during this 30 minutes, hours, however long their perio maintenance is, for them to mention doing a Google review, mention an incentive with doing Google reviews, mention how fast it is that they're going to help them, whatever it is, those patients will do a Google review. So definitely have this big with your hygienist. When patients are having a good day, they're just uptone, ask them. Patients say something positive like they love their work, they love the staff, they love the doctor, or just mentions something positive about your practice, ask them. To assure that this gets done after the patient leaves, if you're doing this on your own, as we said, create printouts as we have shown you, as we have sent you. Copy what we have. We don't care. You use the ones that we have. But if you send them off just saying, yes, they'll do it, most of your patients, it's too much for them to figure out, and they're not going to do it. So which we're going to go over today, we're going to go over exactly what we asked them to do.
We're not going to make you wait till next time, as we said in the video. We recorded that video, what? It's almost 9 months ago now. So, yeah, we decided you'll get the entire method this time, and the manual method, which is the free method, and then in our next webinar, we'll show you a more automated method, which you have to pay a little bit for in order to be able to allow that to work. So we'll go through the entire manual method today. You can start doing this tomorrow.
And there, a lot of our members are still doing it. It's a manual method way. It just takes a little bit longer. And you really do have to offer some kind of incentive for your patients to do this because, as you know, you're busy. They're busy too. By the time they get home and sit down in front of the computer, turn it on, get everything on, it's a lot for them to do. So those incentives really do work. Not only an incentive, but your front desk person, whoever is in charge of this, which our front desk person, Lisa, is in charge, she has to be excited about the offer. She has to be excited about the incentive for this to get our patients excited. We've tried baskets, we've tried gift certificates, and we've tried doing a free cleaning on their next recall, which tends to be the most popular one because she can say, hey, next time you come in for your recall, we can do that for nothing. And all you have to do is do a Google review. It takes 3 minutes, 2 minutes to do that. And they do it. For the ones that are doing it on their own and not in your office, when the way we get them in the drawing is she says, when you get home and you do this, if you need my help, give me a call. I'll help you. But once you do finish it, give me a quick call. I can look it up. It's immediate. Those Google reviews are immediate, and I will put your name in that basket for the drawing. And that's what she does. That's how she gets the names in there. So those are really important to offer to your patients so that they take that time out to do those reviews. And like Dr. Sheldon said, have somebody in charge of it where they can brag about the results. You have someone looking at those reviews daily to make sure that you're getting them, that they're good ones, that there's nothing on there to be worried about. So someone that is constantly monitoring that to make sure that they're increasing, they're good, and that everything is going the way that they're going. And the other thing you said, comment back. That helps as well, right? When you comment back on it. So that helps is to say, thank you. We love having you there. Something, nice where they can see that you have read it and that you thanked them for that.
Very good. So let's go through the method. I'm going to do this live, which means you're going to see my typing skills. Okay, so on the left side of the screen, you can say you can help spread the word, and that's what our patients will receive, and that's what Lisa will give them. I'll just read it aloud. We thank you for being our patient. I hope the service that we're providing to you is second to none. There are many who are looking for the right answer in dental and periodontal care. Where do they search? The internet. Prospective patients look at reviews on the internet as for guidance, I got to change that. For guidance in choosing the correct dentist. Your review would go a long way toward helping those prospective patients choose the right dentist. Most people use Google as their internet search engine, and Google review is more likely to be viewed. By the way, we got to make that point. You can talk about Yelp reviews. You can talk about, Bing reviews or other online reviews. Google is still the search engine, and while I don't discount the use of Yelp, we got a beautiful Yelp review over the weekend. Let me tell you about it. Still, when people are searching, they're searching through Google, and therefore your Google reviews are going to elevate your position, your search engine optimization position there. So that's really what you need to concentrate on first. Doesn't mean that other reviews can't be done and health grades can't be done. And there's some companies that take one review and they'll feed it to a number of different sites. And there's some legal ways of doing that. But Google reviews have to be number one. Okay, so here's how to do a Google review. Number one, you have to have a Gmail account. Your business has to have a Gmail account. You can't do this unless you have a Gmail account. So let's do that. We're going to go open Google Maps, and I'm going to do it the simple way. I'm just going to go Google Maps, and we'll see that. Okay, so open Google Maps. Make sure you're signed in. How are you signed in? I'm trying to do two things on one screen. Let's see if I can expand this out a little bit. Okay, so I'm signed in. We're actually signed in with the AAIP. Email address. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, search for Dr. Lee Sheldon. So let's go to Google Maps. And now let's search for Dr. Lee. Well, look at who happens to be first. Okay, otherwise you type in Dr. Lee Sheldon. Okay, and there is how our Google My Business page has been registered. And you'll see that we had, 102 reviews when we recorded this 9 months ago. Now we have 142 reviews. Not bad. Good. So now we're going to scroll down, and there's a place that says write a review. I know this might be simple for some of you. And for some of you saying, oh, I didn't know how to do that. Or you're trying to instruct your staff on how to do that or how to instruct the patients. Now, the next step is important. Make sure that you're not clicking on just 1 star, because that gives you a 1-star review. Make sure that the person is clicking on 5 stars. Okay, we've had so many people say, oh, I gave you a 5-star review and only put in 1 star. We actually had to call, well, it's so many, but some. We actually had to call, and here was a great review with 1 star. Would you mind changing that? And then, of course, they can't edit the review. And so then we can write down something like this. Okay, and that's what the patient would be writing. And then you would post it. Now, I'm not going to post this because I'm just not going to. But that's essentially all that's done. Push post, and then that review is submitted. And that's it. I'm going to push cancel instead. And do I want to discard this review? Yes. Okay. So that's as simple as it gets in terms of taking care of this. Make sure you have the Google My Business page, as I said. I'm repeating myself. And that's it. So any questions on that? I see a question coming up here. Hang on. What automated review system do you recommend? We currently use Podium. Right now, I'm not going to talk about that because there are some transitions we're making right now.
Well, we're trying a few things out for for all of our members.
Exactly,
and we'll
right.
have those on there on the 24th. We are going to have our recommended companies for that.
But Roger, if Podium's working for you, that's fine. As long as we make it easy to get in there, then we're fine, and we can talk about that privately if you'd like. But in 2 weeks, we'll give you some good options. Good. So the next part of it is incentive. Am I doing this right?
Thank you. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Here's the simple incentive, and Danielle will tell you a little bit more about the incentives. By the way, we can't offer a free cleaning in advance. You can't bribe somebody to give you a Google review. You can give them a present afterwards. Do we give them a free trophy when they write a review? Is that what we said? Or they're entering into a drawing. They're entering into a drawing. Okay.
So you can do a drawing.
Do the drawing.
Yes. And that's how we've actually gone around it, is doing the drawing. Like you said, you can't tell someone you're giving them something for it, and we're not. So when they are, after we're asking them and we're explaining it, we're giving them the instruction sheet. And then she's also giving them this sheet to remind them, hey, once you have completed that review at home, give me a call back, and we will put your name into that basket, and we'll have on there exactly what it is that we're giving out. As we said, our most popular prize that gets the most response is saying, hey, the next time you come, you won't have to pay that $165, $175 when you come back. That's a big deal for them to be in a drawing for that. And it's worth it to us to get those really good Google reviews from all those patients. So we give them that, and they take it home with them, and they call us back. You put their name in the basket. And then when they do win, if you're doing social media stuff, it's good for patients to come back, get a picture, thank you for all you do, our patient of the month, and that sort of thing. So it's a great way to have it in their hand, taking it home with them so they do not forget and they remember what you're going to be giving them, because it's a nice savings.
Yeah, it's fun. And I show up for the drawing sometimes too, and I get in the picture.
Yes,
and,
he does.
But I'm not a ham, so. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We will talk about that. So are there any other questions that we have regarding this? Okay.
Our next webinar is on the 24th. And as we said, with that one, we're going to have different alternative ways of doing this. If you're not interested in doing it on your own, if you try doing it on your own, it's not working for you, we will have other suggestions in their outside companies that you use to make it quicker, easier, and plus some. There's more stuff that they do for you as well.
Yeah, and once you see the automated system,
yes,
then you'll see why. There's no reason why you can't, and systems, because there are a number of different ones.
Yes.
But there's no reason why you can't, if you're not doing this right now, listen, as we've said, put somebody in charge of this.
Yes.
Make a statistic. Let them do a graph. How many new reviews did we get? And everybody's contributing to the statistic, because everybody, an assistant hears from a patient, hey, Dr. So-and-so, it's great, or I love the surgery, I love my new graft, I love my implant, I love whatever it is, good. Every person in the office contributes to Google reviews, but it's one person who's in charge of it.
Right.
And so that becomes that person's statistic, and that person can brag, and you can also track and make sure that statistic continues to go up and up and up, because it makes that much of a difference in the numbers of new patients that you'll see. Okay, so that's it for this webinar. Hope to see you in Scottsdale or in San Diego. Otherwise, we will see you and talk to you here in 2 weeks.
Have a great evening.
Thanks. Oh, see, I got this right at the last. Right, if you're still on here, and if everybody's still on here, if you haven't hung up yet, and if you're hearing me, you don't. The question is, how do you remove a negative Google review? And the answer is you can't remove a negative Google review unless the person who writes the negative Google review removes that review, him or herself.
Now you can argue it for something.
You can argue with Google. You can protest it with Google. You can. And you can also protest it with Facebook. We've never won a protest with Google. With Facebook, we did.
Yes.
Facebook, there was actually a concerted effort by a person who essentially got a lot of fake Facebook names. Right. It was, we think, due to a disgruntled employee. So we were able to get the Facebook reviews. We had like 5 negative reviews all at the same time, and we were able to get that reversed. It took about a month, even 6 weeks. But in Google, the biggest protection you have on Google reviews is to make sure that your staff does not write any reviews for you, nor should your friends write your reviews for you. But when a negative review comes up, that's the time to enlist your staff and enlist your friends to start writing positive reviews, so that negative review moves down to the bottom. Now it's interesting. We had a patient who gave us a negative review, a patient we never saw before, who came in for us to smooth off a crown or something like that, and we said we can't do that, and because that's not what we do. And she wrote a negative review, and that's staying up on top in Google. So despite the fact that we have 142 reviews, and she wrote her review about 6 months ago, it's still number 2 that shows up. So, they don't automatically get pushed down, but what you're looking for is a vast majority of 5-star reviews to be there, and that's your protection. Hold your staff, hold your friends for that kind of protection, and then if you do get attacked, then quickly, not quickly, I mean, it becomes too obvious if 5 positive reviews show up in one day when before you were having 1 review showing up once every week or 2. But once a week, another staff member writes a positive review. And by the way, make sure it's not done on an office computer. Make sure they're doing it from home. Make sure that the IP address they're delivering from is from a different IP address than your own office. Can you do it in your office and do it from a smartphone? The answer is probably not, because if your smartphone is, particularly if it's hooked up to Wi-Fi, because if Google senses that all of the good reviews are coming from one Wi-Fi address, then Google starts to become suspicious, and Google is good at punishing you for violating Google reviews. So essentially that means the smartphone would need to be put on 4G, or let the person do it from home, so it's not coming from your Wi-Fi, so that they're each of the reviews are coming from a separate Wi-Fi system. That's as technical as I can get. Not being a technical guy, but I know a little bit about that stuff because we've found that ourselves. All right, I think that answers all of the questions that we have tonight. Again, we'll talk to you again in 2 weeks.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.